it is bloody cool to be sitting in a room with the actors responsible for some of the finest work this year. So thank you all for being here and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
You know, I've always said that today the strongest storytelling is all on streaming shows. And I feel like this year in particular has been a game-changing, bar-raising year for Hindi streaming shows. If you look at just the number of shows that are worth discussing and celebrating, there are a lot of them. And I think that's a testament to all of your work as well. Even just in terms of the diversity of the characters in the stories, you know, just in this room, we have wedding planners, we have notorious scamsters, we have assassins with OCD, we have reluctant gangsters.
And a cop also.
And a cop.
And a very good cop.
Very much so.
very good.
Particularly with his children.
Really, truly.
I will stop my self-promotion.
One second, last वाला क्या था?
Aspiring film stars, is that not fair? Yeah.
Yeah, she came late also. She's on the right track.
I meant your character.
I also meant character.
So just to kick off, I just want to ask, if I was a fly on the wall and I was watching you guys prepare for these characters in the weeks leading up to shoot, what would I see?
Yeah,
If you're wearing that, you have to start.
Yeah, of course. I will do that. Yeah, a lot of it happens in my imagination. Like, you know, when I read something and then it just stews in my head and ideas start to come and I stay with them for as long as I can, and then I throw out all the things that after a point some of them don't make any sense. So it's mostly me sitting and thinking. That's what you'll see. Sitting by myself, maybe looking outside the window or something like that, and then thinking. Yeah. It becomes part of my life. I'm thinking about it while brushing my teeth, eating. I mean, that's the fun. Like if a part and a script can excite me so much that it becomes part of my life when I'm doing something else, I'm thinking about it. So that's how you'll catch me preparing.
Adarsh, what about you?
I think my prep is sort of roughly divided into two parts. One is the mental part of it and the thinking part of it, and then is the application part of it, which I start practicing at home. So like people who've been to my house and my partner has seen me walk in different ways, trying out different permutations and combinations. But the thinking part is also a big part of it, and a lot of it is also on YouTube. So like just like looking for random videos on YouTube for inspiration, and like even for Ganchi Junior's character, I think a lot of it came from this one particular person who I can't name. But their vlogs on YouTube and sort of understanding who they are and then sort of drawing reference from that and then trying to apply it in my body and seeing what would look nice with it. Yeah.
Who said vlogs can't have value? Arjun, what about you?
Well, for Karan, you would probably have just seen me either working out or like removing my body hair or something like that. But
You start from the outside in.
Yeah, well, you know, the thing is, generally, I'm ashamed to say I don't prep too much unless it's a part that requires me to really change my physicality or vocal quality or something. If it is something for which particularly I have been briefed, that just play it as yourself, then though there's really no prep for me. It's I like to absorb the text, have conversations with the director as much as possible, and then just like on set, it's a very instinctive thing I follow. You know, that's the way it comes out best for me. Yeah.
I guess it must be different if it's a character you're returning to after, for a second.
Yeah, particularly, especially because I did have this thing of, how easy it would be to get into it again, but it was nothing. It was just the first time the camera rolls on set on day one, you're just like, oh, I'm here, so it's easy. Yeah.
एक तो वो thinking part, I think it's same. तो वो पूरे दिन में आप जो भी कुछ कर रहे हो तो अगर आप देख रहे होगे तो शायद दिन में 2-3 बार ऐसे हो कि oh, okay, so I'll just write it down, like I'll just get a thought, or if I'm watching something or talking to someone and I just, because it's always going on. So, 1 second, so I'll just do that, और नीलोफर के लिए mostly कोई बात करते करते I'll be like, यार मैंने सपना देखा, ख्वाब देखा, खैरियत. तो I was just बहुत नुक्ते पे अपनी practice कर रही थी. तो yeah, you'll see me just doing all these things. But I think it's mostly, it's a combination of whatever.
We're also like this, as dramatic as it. ऐसे ही. So suddenly you're like walking around and suddenly like you're like,
oh, she spotted the fly.
मक्खी डर गई.
For खुफिया this one particular scene तो मैं किसी बात पे बहुत अपसेट थी और रो रही थी और कुछ तो ऐसा हुआ कि रोते रोते एक मोमेंट आया and I was like so I quickly wrote it down कि ऐसे करके silently that silent scream that I do so that came to me while I was actually crying. I was like, oh, shit. And
I
then
should remember this.
yeah. And then I just didn't cry after that. I was like, fuck!
It's so messed up being an actor though that this
Yeah,
thing
that is true.
Even when you're actually living in
life,
when going through the moment or going through life, there's a part of you that is like, मैं actor भी है.
Yeah, so absolutely.
Yeah, when my Nana ji passed away, I was weeping and my lips were quivering a certain way, and I was like, I should remember this.
Yeah. Or sometimes, you're listening to a piece of music or something, you feel something and you just go with that feeling then, it's like, oh, I'm feeling something, let me just see where this can go. Or before you know it, acha, aansu aa rahe, acha, very good, very good.
Note down this music.
Yeah.
So the actor in you is always annoying the person in you.
Not annoying. I think it's such a blessing to be like that because some people can really just I feel like I'm always so vulnerable but yet so detached because I'm always looking at myself also from a different perspective all the time and that's such a cool thing. Not everybody can do that, so it's nice.
Gagan, what about you?
जो भी इन सब ने कहा
ये भाई कुछ तो ओरिजिनल.
एक चीज जो मैं करता हूँ, मुझे डायलॉग्स से बहुत तकलीफ होती है, मतलब याद करने में या उसको, तो मैं बहुत ज़्यादा पढ़ता रहता हूँ और मैं अपने दोस्तों को बुला के हर बार कहता हूँ कि किसी एक दोस्त को बुला लिया, चल पढ़ते हैं इसको, चल पढ़ते हैं, किसी अलग तरीके से पढ़ते हैं. मैं अभी इसकी स्पीड को कम कर देता हूँ, मैं थोड़ा धीरे बोलता हूँ, फास्ट हो रहा है ना थोड़ा, तो थोड़ा धीरे कर देता हूँ. थोड़ा एक काम करता हूँ, मेरी आवाज़ बहुत ज़्यादा हाई पिच पे जा रही है ना, थोड़ा मैं लो करके पढ़ता हूँ इसको, देख कैसा साउंड कर रहा है. तो ये सारी चीज़ें हम ट्राई करते रहते हैं.
And playing with the material, trying things in different ways.
Exactly, yeah.
ये क्योंकि आप नाटक भी करते हैं, नाटक आपने डायरेक्ट भी किया है, आप एक्टिंग भी करते हैं, कि शायद ये उससे थोड़ा मिलता जुलता प्रोसेस है कि आपने अडॉप्ट कर लिया क्योंकि रिहर्सल प्रोसेस होती है.
Exactly.
हाँ, तो ये कर नहीं पाते हो तो फिर अपने आप के साथ ये आवाज बदल के आपने कुछ ट्राई किया, नेक्स्ट ऐसे बोलूंगा वैसे बोलूंगा.
हाँ.
सो इसका इन्फ्लुएंस है ना.
बिल्कुल नाटक का बहुत इन्फ्लुएंस रहता है, बिकॉज नाटक में हम लोग क्या करते हैं, एक चीज को कम से कम 1-1.5 महीने तक बार हम लोग पढ़ रहे हैं. तो नाटक का उसमें बहुत असर पड़ता है कि जैसे जब स्कैम तेलगी भी मैं कर रहा था तो मुझे ये मालूम पड़ा कि मुझे अपनी भाषा चेंज करनी थी, बिकॉज वो खानापुर से थे और वहाँ दक्षिणी का बहुत इफेक्ट आता है. तो मैं जब वहाँ गया था और मैंने रिकॉर्ड किया था लोगों को कि कैसे वो बात करते हैं. जैसे हमारे यहाँ पे हम बात करेंगे कि भाई साहब यहाँ से वहाँ जाने के लिए कैसे जाएंगे, तो वो कहेंगे यहाँ से रिक्शा पकड़ लो, वो आपको वहाँ लेके जाएगा. ये है, पकड़ लो ना, वहाँ रिक्शा से लेके जाएगा आपको. तो वो उन्होंने ऐसा करके बोला, मैं कहा अरे ये तो बहुत कमाल है यार, इसको पकड़ता हूँ मैं. तो बात को जो पलटना है, फिर मैंने सारे डायलॉग्स को देखा आपने, मैंने कहा ये सारे डायलॉग्स में मैं ऐसा कुछ कर सकता हूँ कि सब्जेक्ट एंड ऑब्जेक्ट को थोड़ा सा उल्टा पुल्टा करके मैं देख सकता हूँ कि कैसे वो टोन बनती है. तो वो हम ट्राई करते रहते हैं. एंड देन आई कीप आस्किंग माय फ्रेंड्स, पीपल, आई कीप कॉलिंग माय फ्रेंड्स के चलो रीड करते हैं, वापस रीड करते हैं, ये कैसा सुनाई दे रहा है, वो कैसा सुनाई दे रहा है. तो ये सारी चीज़ें करते करते यू रीच अ कैरेक्टर. बट इट ऑल्सो डिपेंड्स ऑन द काइंड ऑफ कैरेक्टर यू गेट. यू डोंट डू इट विद ऑल द कैरेक्टर्स. It depends on what kind of character you are playing. Sometimes the character comes naturally to you. You just read it and you know that you've gotten, like you know the rhythm. And sometimes it is like नहीं इसका कुछ करना पड़ेगा, चलो करते हैं. तो सारा दिन जैसे ब्रश करते हुए वो सोचते रहते हैं, मैं भी सोचता रहता हूँ, कभी खिड़की के बाहर सोचते रहते हैं, कभी
नहीं ब्रश कर, वो दूसरी वो और भी चीजें हैं. वहीं पे सबसे अच्छे आइडियाज वहीं पे आते हैं गुरु. ये तो कोई नहीं बोलेंगे नहीं, लेकिन सब लोग.
और फिर अपने रियल लाइफ
This is the acting advice nobody anticipated.
and you take from your real life characters, like my grandmother had this whole idea of जब भी कोई बहुत ज्यादा ऐसे उनको चीज ट्रबल करती थी तो she used to say like हललललललललला. And I used that in my play once and people went berserk and they were like laughing like ये कहाँ से रिएक्शन आया. मैंने कहा मेरी बीजी करती थी यार, it's a real life character, so I just used that. So you use those traits and then you mix and match and you create a character which
Grandparents are a very common theme here. They're just the
yeah,
content
it is.
factors.
It is like that.
Yeah, oh yeah, I did mention my Nana ji. Yeah.
Mona, what about you? If I was a fly on the wall, what would I see you doing?
So for me, I think I take inspiration from music. So every time there's a new character that comes to me, I try to find my song, and I constantly listen to that music. I keep reading my dialogues, but I mostly practice in front of the mirror in the bathroom, always, and I look demented. कहाँ जा रहे हो? किधर जा रहे हो? क्यों जा रहे हो? I keep doing that.
So is
Yeah.
it one song for, like, each character is associated with a specific song?
One or two songs, always I find the song. Even to cry, I have to find a song. I relate to music.
I think it was Vidya Balan who said that for each character she finds a different scent.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
So that's very interesting.
Yeah, I find a song.
But I also wanted to ask all of you if you had any sort of apprehensions or doubts stepping into these roles, either in terms of considering the role or for a specific scene, because, Gagan, in your case, you're stepping into very big shoes with the Scam franchise. Mona, you're also stepping into the beloved Made in Heaven world. And even in terms of the journeys of your characters, Arjun, your character Karan goes through some very tricky, self-destructive territory, which is not always the easiest to watch. And, Adarsh, your character is struggling with their identity, to put it very, lightly in Guns and Gulaabs. So for all of you, did you have any sort of moments of how the hell will I pull this off? And how did you get past it?
मुझे तो कभी भी नहीं लगता है कि कर पाऊंगी, और जब हो जाता है तो पता ही नहीं चलता कि कैसे हुआ है.
हो भी गया है कि नहीं ये भी नहीं पता लगता.
हाँ, और जब शो रिलीज हो जाता है 2 महीने बाद फिर देख रहे हो, तब समझ में आता है कि यार ये तो कुछ और कर सकती थी. मेरे साथ तो हमेशा ही होता है. मुझे नहीं समझ में आता है कि मतलब जब उस वक्त जो पढ़ रहे हैं, बहुत डर, मुझे तो हमेशा लगता है नहीं हो पाएगा ये, पता नहीं क्या होगा, जाके देखते हैं. तो आई कीप थिंकिंग बिकॉज इट्स लाइक अंडरस्टैंडिंग अ पर्सन. कैसे समझ सकते हो 1 महीने 2 महीने में, इट्स सो डिफिकल्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड समवन. तो वो मतलब खुद के पार्टनर को समझने के लिए कितने साल लग जाते हैं, और यहाँ पे उसने ऐसा क्यों किया, वो पूरी जस्टिफिकेशन, एवरीथिंग, यू शुड बी, इट जस्ट टू मच समटाइम्स. Sometimes I get my answers after the show has been released.
Yeah, so true.
And then I'm like, अरे
So
अच्छा
true.
इसने तो इसलिए किया था ये. I think मेरे साथ तो ऐसा हो जाता है.
What about the rest of you?
Devilal Singh and Atmaram, like there was no doubt in my mind that I didn't want to do them. I was a bit apprehensive about Atmaram because it was sort of a negative character, a villain, and that's the only thing I told Raj and DK that I'm limiting the number of villains I want to play because I want to try other things. But it was such a wonderful part, and I would have really regretted saying no to it. And Raj sir also convinced me that no, have a look at it, because I hadn't read anything. He just said that, yeah, he's a villain. I was like, yeah, sort of. But it's like, have a read. So once I read it, both these parts, like, they were so exciting to me, and they were so different from each other also, which that kind of diversity, I crave for that. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but then that's exciting. You find ways to sort of do it. And yeah, you can never understand somebody completely, but you can project an illusion of being somebody else. So the attempt is always trying to create that illusion, and sometimes you're able to do it really well and sometimes not so well. But these two parts, there's no chance in hell, if they were offered to me, that I would have said no to.
Yeah. Adarsh, what about you?
When I read for Jugnu the first time, the character was almost written like a symphony. Like there were so many layers to it. There was so much backstory, the baggage that they carry, and all of that. And I feel like for me, the process of playing a character is much like, so I went scuba diving 3 months ago, and I'm a very bad swimmer, and I've drowned a couple of times in the past, and I had to be rescued and all of that. But every time yet when I go into the water, there is that fear of getting into the water, but once I get in, I know it'll be a great experience. So playing a character for me is like that, like scuba diving. When I dove, I was like, oh my God, I'm 18 meters under the surface. Now anything can happen, but once you come out of it, it's like you're born again. So it's that feeling that I want and that I crave every time, and which is why I feel like I'm interested in the process of transformation and metamorphosis, because it gives me that chance to feel like a new person every time I come out of it. So that fear will always be there, I feel, and I'm inherently maybe an underconfident person. I'm always scared and always skeptical about things, but I know that इसके बाद जब मैं करके निकलूंगा तो मुझे अच्छा लगेगा. So
Embrace the fear.
Yeah, embrace the fear.
I completely agree with that. जैसे मैंने बोला कि बाद में नहीं पता चलता कैसे हो गया, because once you get into it, then you're living it.
Oh my God.
So I've had like such a great time playing these characters and living these characters, but this is so true that after each character, there is something that you feel कि कुछ बदल गया है. And I जैसे Nilofer, I feel like she gave me so much. Like once I was done with the shoot, she made me more confident. So many things that while playing her, वो बस रह गई मेरे साथ ही. It's totally like you're just someone else after, you've played this one character. Yeah. सही कह रहे हो.
This is true. कई बार दूसरे जब हमें अपने कैरेक्टर के बारे में बताते हैं ना, तब सवाल करते हैं. तो कई बार तो आपको लगता है कि नहीं मैं तो समझ चुका हूँ कि यही है, पर then you are having a conversation with somebody and the way they look at that character and they're like अच्छा ये था क्या, मैं तो कुछ और सोच रहा था.
Yeah, if your ego doesn't get in the way.
And it's so good to, I think वो एक अलग experience होता है when you're working with actors who are like more collaborative and no ego and you're talking to each other. It's just such a beautiful experience because it just makes you understand दूसरे का perspective कि वो कैसे देख रहा है. उफ, बहुत मजा आता है.
I also want to talk to you guys about sort of the last few years. When you have these big breakout performances, Adarsh, Wamiqa, Gagan, I imagine for you and maybe for all of you, when you have these big breakout roles and things change, do people, I imagine, just come to you with a whole bunch of advice on the roles to take, endorsements, everything, whether you like it or not, everyone's just giving you advice. So what's the worst advice you guys have ever received from someone that made you go, seriously? Have you ever had like terrible advice about maybe the roles or I feel like Gagan has an answer he doesn't want to share.
Please go ahead.
Or you have advice for someone, you can do that also.
No. I'm like, all the advices that I've gotten are terrible, so I don't know which one to name.
You said one of them was everyone's telling you to play a villain, is that right?
No, those are the roles that I've been offered. I mean, I think in our industry, it's a kind of norm, and I don't know why it is or who is responsible for it. There is no one person. But once you play a certain kind of character, I think it's a lack of imagination or lack of vision, or I don't know what it is. They can't see you beyond that. Because I'm the least experienced in case of doing work in front of camera out of all these guys, and I'm like, मैंने अभी तक सिर्फ दो सीरीज की हैं और एक फिल्म की है, उससे ज़्यादा मैंने काम नहीं किया है, और and this is my the biggest role that I have gotten, and the moment this got released, the only things that I've been offered are a person above 50 years old, father of some 21-year-old person, and or negative character, because Telgi is into that, falls into that category. So those are the roles I've been offered, and I'm like, come on guys, just go online and see. I'm a 40-year-old guy. I'm younger than 50 at least. Even if I'm not younger than that, I'm like, look at me. I'm not a father of 20-year-old person, So most of the roles that I'm being offered right now they fall into the same category, and that's why I wear these hoodies and all that to try to look a little younger, so that they can look at me in a different way and offer me a role which suits my age. So and everybody's like, offer the advices that I'm getting, but if you don't take it, you will wither out.
People will forget you.
People will forget you, because today you got here, and it's a very fast changing world. It's a world of Instagram, and one thing is up today and second thing is up next day. So look for the money, look for this, look for that, but nobody is telling me or even asking me, what do I want to do? What kind of roles, or what have been I doing till now? I was not Telgi, or I was not famous till now. I was doing theatre and I was enjoying my roles over there. What kind of role, whatever kind of roles I was getting. But now it's like, suddenly they are interested in me and they want to tell me how to live my life and how to plan my career. I never planned my career. Where were you till now? So that's why I laughed. Nothing in particular about any person.
What about the rest of you? Any terrible advice come your way about?
सुनो सबकी करो अपनी.
But the silliest advice I got this year was after my 3 releases. There were these some acquaintances, not friends, they all were like, "Bas abhi, just take a break, okay? Bar releases ho rahe hain, you will, expose yourself too much, and then people may not cast you. People might get bored of seeing you so much on screen." I was like, "But every role is so different." I was like, just relax, yeah. You don't know what I'm doing.
So you're not doing enough work. You're doing too. There's no winning.
There's no winning.
Yeah, there's always a
People
guy.
always have
There's
something
always
to
going to
pick
be.
on. Always something to pick on.
Like reel banao. You don't
हाँ,
make
reel
reels.
बनाओ.
तुम्हारी engagement कैसे बढ़ेगी?
Yeah. The Instagram advice is the worst one.
But it's true, yeah, reels have a crazy reach.
Yeah, but
I've been discovering this off late.
yeah.
I mean, I know it's.
I mean, I know. What I
so
do
hard,
know is
but-
you have to find the second you go away from what you're comfortable and happy and comes naturally to you. The second you start pretending to be something.
Yeah, you lose
Yeah.
yourself.
Then,
you lose
that is
perspective.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people like us for who we are. No?
Yeah.
So now if you start
Yeah.
pretending, then maybe they
Yeah.
won't like you anymore.
Exactly.
And you can always tell if someone's being.
Yeah.
Reels भी बनानी है
Yeah.
तो ठीक है, but we have to then find that
way of making.
yeah.
But ठीक है यार, as long as you know
Trending
who you are,
music
what
पर
you-
dance करते
नहीं,
तो
वो तो-
But speaking of reels, we have to talk about the beast of social media. So many actors talk about how annoying it is. It's a necessary evil. You're told that you have to build your following. People are replaced by other actors who have a larger following. But Wamiqa, you have one of the most oddly wonderful casting stories based on Instagram, because Vikramaditya Motwani has talked about how, when he was considering you for Niloufar, it's your reels that he said that basically
You're deserving.
because of your reels, he saw a side of you he hadn't seen, and he saw the character in you, which was weirdly wonderful.
इसीलिए बोलते हैं reels बनाओ.
No, but it is really wonderful that maybe social media is not the worst thing, and maybe there can be a benefit to it for an actor. So what advice would you guys have on how to use social media in service of being an actor? Because that is something that you hope to see more of, rather than just the noise and the following and the crowd.
Okay, अगर मुझे आज मौका मिले तो मैं Instagram नहीं यूज करूंगी.
चल झूठी.
I swear to God.
Why?
I'll tell you. Why do I use Instagram? बहुत quick money है यार. I don't have to do the films that I don't want to do because मुझे पैसे थोड़े मिल जाते हैं Instagram के ads से, and then I can at least sit at home and rather not do anything and sit at home than do a film that I don't want to do. So I am working वो सब social media पे just for that. And also that जब कोई अच्छा काम कर रही हूँ तो I have a larger audience to convey my message to कि hey, I have just done this. Would you like to watch it? Otherwise बहुत depend करना पड़ता है कि उतने लोगों के तक वो बात पहुँच जाए. I feel कि if I have a good following, at least मेरी वो बात ज़्यादा लोगों तक पहुँच जाएगी. That's my only reason. Otherwise मुझे नहीं लगता है कि एक्टिंग का रील से कुछ भी लेना देना है. मुझे लगता है वर्कशॉप्स करो, अपने ऊपर काम करो, अच्छे इंसान बनो, हैव एम्पैथी टुवर्ड्स योरसेल्फ, टुवर्ड्स अदर्स एंड ऑडिशंस करो. लाइक just work on yourself.
But you didn't make your reels thinking that कि हाँ कोई तो देख लेगा मुझे cast करना.
नहीं. तो क्या हुआ? ऑडिशन मैंने दिया, मुझे लगा था बहुत अच्छा ऑडिशन दिया, and I was always very awkward getting clicked. जब पैंडेमिक से पहले तो मुझे उस वक्त फील हो गया था बिकॉज आई न्यू कि इतने बड़े शो के लिए मैं लुक टेस्ट कर रही हूँ. एंड जब विक्रम सर वहाँ पे थे और मैं फोटोज क्लिक करती मुझे समझ में आ गया था कि ये बहुत awkward वो दिख रहा है उनको. ऑडिशन माई सीन्स वर गुड. आई गॉट रिजेक्टेड. मतलब मुझे बाद में पता चल गया था कि नहीं हो रहा है. पैंडेमिक में मुझे ये बहुत बार फील हुई थी कि क्यों नहीं, व्हाई इट डिडंट हैपन. तो पैंडेमिक मैंने सिर्फ यही किया, मैं सिर्फ फोटोज क्लिक करती रहती थी अपनी सेल्फ ऐसे पोर्ट्रेट्स बना के, एंड कोई काम नहीं था तो आई यूज्ड टू स्टार्ट. तो विक्रम सर ने ही जस्ट सॉ दिस अनदर साइड ऑफ मी बिकॉज जब मैं उनको पहली बार मिली थी लुक टेस्ट पे, आई वाज वेरी नर्वस एंड all of that, so I was very like a बीबा बच्चा. I was like yes sir, yes sure sir, yeah. तो मैं बहुत ही एक उसमें थी, तो उनको लगा ये तो बहुत सीधी सादी है, ये कैसे लोफर प्ले करेगी. So when he got on Instagram and he saw me doing all that राखी सावंत की आवाज में reels and all, so he was like
Don't laugh at Rakhi Sawant, it got you a role.
No, I said, then he said, ये तो बड़ी छिछोरी है. So then he said, yeah, you can play Niloufar.
But it's
So
a hopeful story. It's like, maybe there is hope for like,
Oh, definitely.
yeah, like it comes, you're going to say something.
So yeah, there's pros, money, things like this. But in terms of the cons also, I think to some degree I find Instagram to be detrimental for an actor to some degree, because I feel that like now there's people saying that, oh, Shah Rukh is the last superstar. Why is that? Because he became a superstar before the time of social media, primarily.
Yeah.
Right now, the kind of exposure that stars have, and the kind of insight, we're seeing every move
Yeah.
from the time they wake up to the time you sleep.
Exposure is a lot.
All of it is. So I think as an audience, when you're just fed so much of something for no reason at all, then when there is an actual reason to watch them as a character, I find that you find it a little difficult to relate to the character because you know too much about
The
this-
person.
the
Yeah,
face.
there's no mystery left now.
Yeah.